Steven Universe is the property of Cartoon Network, Rebecca Sugar, and its respective owners. Any and all footage or images have been used for the sole purpose of critique or parody, and as such are protected under fair use. Please support the official release. Hey, how are you? I'm SliceofOtaku, and it's time for the review of the new Crystal Gems. Now, this was an incredibly cute episode that established certain things to the audience that should be kept in mind for future episodes. So we begin with the Crystal Gems +1 Greg returning to Beach City in the present, as they're greeted by Connie. They should have been the Crystal Gems +1 Greg and 5 Rubies, but we'll get to that in due time. Connie then proceeded to fill them all in on what happened when they were away. So yeah, we didn't really manage to break the unwritten Steven's perspective rule in this one, but it's still pretty refreshing to receive a flashback that's recent nonetheless. Steven tells Connie to protect Beach City while he's away, as seen in the episode Adventures in Light Distortion. So she heads over to his place and encounters Peridot and Lapis in Steven's bathroom. The encounter between these three was executed very well. Everything you'd expect them to say to each other was said, like when Peridot recognizes Connie as Steven's third best friend, while Lapis doesn't recognize her at all, despite nearly drowning her in the Ocean Gem episode. Lapis displays absolutely no remorse for her past actions, and Peridot's demanding behavior is very reminiscent of her loyal homeworld self. Peridot and Lapis were actually tasked with the same thing as Connie by Garnet in the same episode Adventures in Light Distortion, and because of this they're pretty rude to Connie, saying that she'll probably let Steven down and that they don't need her help. That is, until Peridot suggests that they perform the team roles of the actual Crystal Gems, which pretty much means cosplay. It's interesting how excited Peridot was to portray Garnet. At this point, she has so much admiration towards her and I just love it. When she tells Lapis she can be Amethyst and Lapis asked which one is she, I legit made the same face as Peridot. In those few seconds, my mind raced really fast and I was ready to lose all hope for this character. But she broke my neck with her dry humor. I have a friend who is exactly the same way, so I just felt like this was a slice of my life. When they go to survey the area for suspicious behavior, Connie checks out a few things with her binoculars. From here, we see Sadie and Lars actually just hanging out, which isn't exactly surprising, but for some reason makes me feel a certain way. It's almost like, because we see everything from Steven's perspective all the time, we always see them accompanied by a third wheel. Maybe the reason it's so difficult for some of us as an audience to comprehend their relationship is Steven's involvement. Lars is the type of guy to act tough and show off, so if Steven is present, he'll never actually want to be too affectionate. But as we can see here, he's sorta holding her. In the episode The New Lars, it's clear to us that Steven doesn't exactly understand their relationship fully, and to me, this is further reinforced by this brief moment. Connie then looks at Ronaldo, who in turn looks back at her with his own binoculars. I mean, this dude must have ESP or low-key be a prophet. At this point, Rocknaldo better not flop. Connie is wearing Steven's shirt, Peridot has shades on like Garnet, Lapis actually alters her hair a bit to resemble Amethyst, although all I can see is Sasuke Uchiha, and Pumpkin has a birthday hat on his face pretending to be Pearl, which we've actually seen Jamie and Amethyst do in the past, which is an interesting callback. They hear some commotion over by the car wash, and during this running sequence they actually mimic a moment of the opening. Once they arrive, we see Buck and Mayor Dewey's political car, which seems to have been vandalized. And I'm actually wondering if this will be brought up ever again. Like maybe Beach City actually has some thugs. I feel like that could be explored in a very interesting way if they get like their hands on some gem tech or something like that. The new Crystal Gems decide to clean it up, and dude, Peridot is far more proficient with her metal manipulation powers than she was when poofing Jasper. Despite sounding like she was straining herself, she didn't show any signs of fatigue. For me, that was like the big moment of that episode. It was just so crazy and astounding that Peridot has come this far in such a short amount of time with her powers. Like, what more can she do with it? Then Lapis did her water thing, and they actually did a good job in cleaning the vehicle. The next day, Connie is sleeping in Steven's bed in his shirt, and it's understandable, but still sorta kinda weird. More people want their cars washed because of yesterday's performance, and mind you, this man Ronaldo is on a damn scooter. What are you doing, my boy? This man looks so suspicious. And they pretty much do the same routine until Peridot reminds Lapis to mess around a bit like Amethyst would, and guys, I'm still on the fence when it comes to Lapis. Her idea of a joke is continuously dousing people with water against their will, and when Connie voices her discomfort with the situation, Lapis strikes her with water and chuckles. Like, come on, I for sure sympathize with her past issues and such, but damn, she has some bad tendencies. This causes Peridot to begin scolding them, and she doesn't even have her hands up. She isn't focusing on the car whatsoever, but still has it suspended in the air. That is insane! Even Lapis keeps her hands raised to manipulate water, so, like, this just blew my mind. Lapis decides to now portray Garnet, which causes her to argue and physically struggle against Peridot, so I guess I got something right with the prediction. They did end up fighting sorta kinda. But unfortunately, these two are no better than kids fighting over a toy. If the pizza delivery car wasn't conveniently placed below, they could have seriously hurt Yellowtail. Connie attempts to pull them together like Steven would with a motivational speech, but fails. And at this point, it's obvious that this group isn't ready for prime time. Peridot and Lapis are clearly very overpowered, but within a team environment where they have to worry about others besides themselves, they may become more of a liability. Connie actually hits the nail on the head when she refers to them as superpowered children. She's later on able to convince them to do things their own way and be themselves, and they agree. And to end off this episode, we cut to the present and the sign for the car wash was wrecked, so they apparently create a new Meat Morp sign for the car wash instead. And that's the episode. It's pretty cute and managed to establish a few things. I've already noticed some people referring to this as filler, and it's not that at all. This episode formed a bond between Connie, Peridot, Lapis, and Pumpkin, provided us with a glimpse of their current team-oriented behaviors, displays the strides Peridot has made with her metal manipulation, and incorporates a change in the design of the car wash. So there are some good takeaways from this episode. But there is obviously something missing. Something that I was promised, that I was told would be brought back. That was never brought back. Where are my rubies, Steven? Where are my children, Steven? Like when the promos were dropping, I didn't see any rubies and I got frightened, but I was like, okay, maybe we'll see them at the end. But no, nothing is said about the rubies. We don't even get to see, oh, we bubbled them and sent them to the temple. Nothing. And I know damn well they didn't pick them up because they warped back. At the end of That Will Be All, they just bridged this time-space continuum and just ignored the rubies once again. That pisses me off because he said, we'll get them on our way back. Lying ass. Like, you have to understand, I made a video about them retrieving the rubies 3 months ago, and nothing that I hoped for has come to fruition. We got to see the rubies again in Adventures in Light Distortion, but barely. We saw like 3 of them and we were lied to now. So what do I have to work with here? Like, I'm actually just pleading at this point because for the descriptions of the upcoming new episodes, we don't hear anything about the rubies or anything that seems like it would remotely involve the rubies. Like, really, I don't even want the Ruby Squad to forgive Steven the Crystal Gems anymore because really they don't seem to care. I never want to see Steven cry for anyone's sake ever again. You let me down, my boy. You let me down. Don't take this part of the video too seriously, but let me know what you thought about this episode in the comments, and be sure to share this video with anyone you'd want to be on the team with. Thanks for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.